Today on Inquirer, confessed gunman in Percy Lapid killing surrenders to authorities. 3 other suspects still at large.
Sino nag-utos sa'yo?
Galing po sa loob, sir. Sa Bilibid po.
81 new cases of the immune-evasive XBB Omicron COVID-19 subvariant detected in the country, according to the Department of Health. Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla shoots down resignation calls after his son's arrest. And President Marcos declares October 31 as a special non-working holiday. Good evening. The self-confessed gunman in the fatal ambush of veteran radio broadcaster Percy Mabasa, more popularly known as Percy Lapid, has surrendered to authorities. Beatrice Pinlac fills us in with the details live. Bay?
Neil Joel Estorial, the 39-year-old suspected gunman in the killing of Percy Lapid, has surrendered to the Philippine National Police. In a news conference at Camp Trame in Quezon City, where Estorial was presented to the media, he said he turned himself in due to fear and guilt after he saw a wanted poster that hoped to release an position. Estorial carefully confessed that he, along with 3 other suspects at large, brothers Israel and Edmond Dimaculangan, and a certain Orlando or Orly, was responsible for the killing of the veteran radioman. Estorial, however, noted that he did not know of the surname of Orly, who was the one driving the motorcycle during the incident.
Kasi po, sir, yung namin po doon usapan, kung sino po ang matapat doon sa Percy po, siya po ang babaril. Nagkataon po, natapat sa akin. Sabi naman po, pag hindi ko binaril, ako po ang papatayin. Kaya binaril ko na po si Percy.
Estorial claimed that the order to gun down Lapid came from someone inside the new Bilibid prison in Muntinlupa City. He also said that their group was paid 550,000 pesos to kill Lapid, which they had distributed among themselves. Estorial said a total of 140,000 pesos has since been deposited in his bank account. He then sought forgiveness from Lapid's bereaved family, noting that he did not want this to happen. Recall, Lapid was gunned down at the gate of Las Piñas City Village on October 3. He hosted a radio news program called Lapid Fire, where he was known for his hard-hitting criticisms of the government.
Bay, I'm particularly interested in the brother's belief that the self-confessed suspect is not the person who killed Percy Lapid. Do we have any details about the next course of action for the Lapid family?
Neil, I actually spoke with Percy Lapid's brother, veteran journalist Roy Mabasa. He said that while he is not an expert, he just wanted to clear things out and really ascertain that Estorial is indeed the suspect behind his brother's killing. He said that he is seeking a meeting and a crime scene walkthrough with Estorial to actually corroborate his account of the shooting incident.
Bay, in that report, you also mentioned that the self-confessed suspect claimed that the order to kill Percy Lapid came from within the new Bilibid prison, right? So with this new development, what angles are the authorities looking at in this case?
That's right. In a news conference, Neil, Secretary of Justice Crispin Remulla said he has yet to be briefed about the developments in Lapid's case, so he will actually talk to Interior Secretary Benjamin Abalos Jr. about this, but he assured the public that they will look into whoever may have been involved in the crime from inside the new Bilibid prison.
Okay, so we'll be waiting for further developments on this story. That's Beatrice Pinlac. The Philippines has recorded 81 new cases of the highly immune-evasive XBB Omicron subvariant, according to the Department of Health. To tell us more, John Eric Mendoza is reporting live. Eric?
The Department of Health Officer in Charge Maria Rosario Vergere announced Tuesday that the Philippines reported 81 XBB Omicron subvariant of COVID-19. Guerrero, in a press briefing, said this is based on the latest sequencing run of the Philippine Genome Center. Of the 81 cases, 70 were tagged as recovered, 8 are still ongoing isolation, while the rest of the 3 remaining cases are still being determined. The new XBB coronavirus subvariant is believed to be highly immunoevasive as people with antibodies against COVID-19 could still acquire it. The XBB is also said to cause the case surge in Singapore. Herrera further said the symptoms, the XBB subvariant, is also similar to that of other Omicron subvariants. Singapore Ministry of Health said there's no evidence that the subvariant causes more severe infections. In a related development, Herrera said the country likewise detected 193 XBC Omicron subvariant in 11 regions. Of the 193 cases, the DOH official said 176 were tagged as recovered, 3 remains on isolation, 5 were reported to have died, while the status of the remaining cases are yet to be determined. Guerrero said the United Kingdom Health Security Agency is classifying XBC as a variant under monitoring and investigation. Neil?
Eric, I was reading the news earlier this morning, and I know that this particular subvariant has spread in Singapore. So what do we know so far about the XBB Omicron subvariant? Is this more transmissible, and what is the degree of effect of the vaccines and the booster against this subvariant?
Yes, Neil, the XBB subvariant is said to be highly immunoevasive that could still infect people with antibodies against COVID-19. However, there's no evidence that it leads to more severe infections of the present. No? But the Singapore experienced case surge due to the subvariant. But as health experts noted, the healthcare facilities of that country is not yet overwhelmed. Neil?
Eric, I'm also curious about the policy side of this story. Has DOH said anything about recommending the possibility of closing borders or maybe the possibility of implementing another lockdown?
Yes, Neil. For that, we would have to refer to President Bongbong Marcos' previous pronouncements that he will not impose lockdowns due to the pandemic, and it seems that this XBB subvariant will not trigger such measures because medical experts in Singapore said the XBB is not more serious than other Omicron subvariants. And it's worth pointing out that Singapore lifted its mask mandate in August, and now their government said that they're not ruling out the reimposition of mask mandate indoors. As for the Philippine Department of Health, Guerrero said the IATF does not yet see any indications to tighten the country's border restrictions from travelers, and she also emphasized that the country already has safeguards like the high number of Filipinos who are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and the public behavior of wearing face masks, among other contingent measures. Neil?
Okay, that's John Eric Mendoza reporting live. COVID-19 positivity rates in 7 provinces remain very high as of October 15, according to independent pandemic monitor OCTA Research. OCTA Research fellow Guido David said that the 7 provinces that posted positivity rates that were higher than 20% are Camarines Sur, Cavite, Laguna, Rizal, South Cotabato, Tarlac, and Zambales. These provinces were the same areas that have shown very high COVID-19 positivity rates as of October 11, although the latest numbers indicated that the proportions have notably decreased in Tarlac and Zambales, which previously had 51.8% and 33.6%. Positivity rate refers to the percentage of people who are found positive for COVID-19 from among those who got tested for the coronavirus. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. met with his economic team on Tuesday to determine and formulate the administration's economic policy directions for the rest of the year until first quarter of 2023. According to the Office of the Press Secretary, among the issues discussed during the meeting were inflation, interest rates, and a foreign exchange. In a tweet, President Marcos said inflation remains to be the #1 priority of his administration. He added that the economic team will continue to use interest rates to mitigate the effects of inflation. President Marcos also believes that the Philippines is still doing better than other countries in terms of inflation. Present in a meeting were Secretaries of Finance, Trade, Budget, Public Works and Highways, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Chief, and the head of the National Economic and Development Authority. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has declared October 31, 2022 as a special non-working holiday. This was announced by the Office of Press Secretary Officer in Charge, Cheloy Garafil, earlier today, saying the President has already signed the proclamation for it.
Gusto ko lang i-announce today that the President has already signed the proclamation declaring October 31 as a special non-working holiday. Para na din po mas marami pong tayong time kasama ng ating pamilya at para ma-promote na din po ang ating local tourism.
Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla rejected calls for his resignation after his son was arrested by the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency for possession of high-grade marijuana. In a press conference, Remulla said leaving his post is not his decision to make, but rather President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who appointed him as a Justice Secretary.
It will not happen. I will not comment anymore on the other issues there. But it will not happen. That is not my call. I am a very honorable person when it comes to this. It's the President's call. And if I feel later on that I am not anymore effective in this position, then I will talk to the President about whatever has to be done in the future.
The President earlier rejected calls for Remulla to resign, saying the demand was baseless. According to President Marcos, Remulla took the proper position of recusing himself from any involvement in his son's case. Remulla has said he would not intervene nor influence in any case filed against his son. This, however, did not stop calls for Remulla's resignation. Critics pointed out that Remulla, as Justice Secretary, has the power and influence over the government prosecutors who will eventually handle his son's case. Alamin naman natin ang mga mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama ang ating bandera editor, Ervin Santiago. Ervin?
Hi Neil at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe, ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Nagsorry na ang talent manager at online host na si Manay Lolit Soli sa kapuso actress na si Bea Alonso at sa mga taong nagmamahal sa dalaga. Ito'y matapos niyang magsalita ang manager ni Bea na si Shirley Kwan tungkol sa pangnenega at pang-ookray daw ni Manay Lolit Soli sa kanyang alaga kahit wala itong ginagawang masama. Inamin ni Manay Lolit na totoong nalulungkot siya kapag nababasa ang comments ng mga netizens tungkol sa lovers quarrel daw nila ni Bea. Ang dami na raw kasing nakikisawsaw ng mga netizens at may mga violent reactions pa ang mga ito laban sa kanya. Ipinagdiinan ni Manay Lolit na wala siyang personal na galit kay Bea at kung nasaktan niya ang aktres at ang mga nagmamahal sa kanya ay humihingi siya ng sorry. Sa kanyang Instagram account ngayong araw, nanghingi na ng paumanhin si Manay Lolit sa leading man ni Alden Richards sa seryeng Startup PH ng GMA. Sabi ng veteran showbiz columnist, siya lang daw ang may kasalanan at huwag nang idamay ang mga taong malapit sa kanya. Sabi pa ni Manay, nagsimula sa kanya ang lahat, dapat sa kanya din ito magtapos. Nairita lang daw talaga kasi siya sa mga pambash ng fans na ang naging biktima nga sa kanyang pagganti ay si Bea Alonso. Kasunod nito, nagpatutsada rin si Manay Lolit sa lahat ng mga taong plastic at hindi marunong manindigan sa kanilang pinaniniwalaan. Ipinagdiinan pa niya na hindi siya bully tulad ng mga inaakusa laban sa kanya. At yan ang ating Bandera Chika for today. Thanks, Neil!
Maraming salamat, Ervin. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.